I have to say. Uh, so this week was uploading my stats to TraderSync, and it seems they added some new features to the calendar, and so I was like started playing around with it and like just try to find out eliminate because I was like check the chart PNL curve and then all these drawdowns seems to be like messing about with which is generally from somewhere mid end of June sort of going up and only like a couple of big drawdowns that messes it up. So I decided to look into it, what's happening. Yeah, June had a very big loss on 21st. That was no risk management, revenge over trading. Basically, can see in a number of trades, and that would have been avoided if I want to say that would have been avoided if I would have been trading it now. Due to system, basically how I try to trade. These were again probably like chasing. I didn't really check those. I think only the biggest ones. So even if one of these would have been break even, it would have been break even month, even like with a big loss like this. Then what followed? June, July, quite a decent month. Been away for wedding vacation. Kind of less trades. Well, there's still a number of trades, but generally a bit less. So it's quite a solid month. August. So I think August we had a one-on-one somewhere at the beginning, and I do believe I was quite eager to, super excited to use it in trading what I learned. And there was again got hit with a no risk management mainly on NVTA, killed a solid month as well, which just took a big hit on this, and still quite sort of not too much on the month lost. So if it wasn't for this, it would have been a solid month. And even it took as well, same no risk management, stubbornness and nerve costed as well. But this was the biggest one because we watched the tape as well on this, and I can see why I took those trades, but they were I think more FOMO. But even the tape I would say was as well quite hard to read, quite trappy. It did look like sell off, but again, if I would have followed my system, it shouldn't have been like this. It's, I mean, even the number of trades, it didn't give that many entries, and it was actually doing a crazy volume as well. I think in the afternoon, like two mil a minute. Nerve was similar on this, and then September. This is something I noticed in my reviews a couple of times is was expectations, because that was I got a rare chance to trade the open. So I came in like with a lot of expectations that I'm gonna, you know, place a trade, set a stop, and it's gonna work straight away, and I'm gonna have like a easy day. But it certainly wasn't that. Spent the whole day basically at the screens for a massive loss, which was a very stupid trade as well. Following my system probably wouldn't have taken a lot of them. And it was on the IMRA same pattern. On a review, I noticed that it was same pattern I've seen like last week where it squeezes in the afternoon. I think I'll have one trade on such tick, I believe. Here was very destroyed. Didn't think it's possible to make something like this, and so yeah, basically, even if it wasn't that, well, it wasn't great. but I was like, okay, I can't continue like this, and that's why on the weekend I started like back testing. That I was out like back testing. This is like I tried the what I have back tested kind of worked and was quite actually excited for next week just to try and trade my system, which was a very nice week. So even with 2 weeks like this, managed to close green as well. October was on vacation, see off the grid totally. Came back, so these like last 2 weeks came back, wanted to ease myself in, so didn't trade Monday. Then Tuesday got sucked into basically like trading, but somehow slowly eased into it. Managed to keep it green, and then this this didn't feel like a very good week. I think from reviewing as well, I noticed that a lot of trades were small size, like a starter size, but then again they felt much easier in terms of less stressful, I would say, less emotional at all. So yeah, eliminate big no risk management losses. So it's those that I have a level and I'll start sizing in too early before it actually reaches my level, and by the time it reaches my level, I'm already like want to cover my position. But I don't, because I'll just wait and see what it does at this level, because that was my level, and then it goes even higher. So and then I don't want to cut it. Then shit happens, stupid mistakes. So I need to work a little bit more on the actual like risk management, on sizing into them. Hence why we had that little chat. Well, I wouldn't say a little chat with Cody on a Friday evening. I just wanted to somehow get his perspective, how he thinks in terms of that, in terms of risk management. And yeah, I have to eliminate the expectations, because it's like was on think on last week Friday as well. I came in with expectations that I'm gonna like take the you know first trade. Basically, it will work. It will be easy. Lay day fade, and I'm gonna be like done in an hour, and I can go walk the dog and do other things like I think Friday relax or whatever. So yeah, no expectations. The only expectation is I can expect is to see what the market will give. Yeah, as I said, instead must say if no trades before this and that, I will shut down, instead of I'll come have a killer trade first 30 minutes and we'll shut down. Yeah, and also my thoughts about hard stops is like I believe like having no hard stop, it's not a crime, but have to have your risk. If I'm sized into like 280, I can't wait and see what price will do at free. Basically, what I said somewhere around here a little bit early on. If I'm sizing into this, I can't wait to see what it's gonna do there. Just little takeaways from Friday chat, and from reviewing some charts from these big losses, which brings us a case to Monday. AVCT. This was I think quite okay. Ideally, I wanted like 250 level on this, so took like a starter position here. But then once this dip got bought back up and so it's still grinding up, I didn't really like the price action. I thought it was like too trappy, so just cut my position. I thought, okay, I'll just wait like for fake breakout or anything. What then? After this reclaim, that's it. I said, okay, it's definitely gonna go 250. So then left it alone. I believe didn't like completely the price action on this thing. A touch of FOMO with low entry. Yeah, this was a little bit, but then again, what I need to identify, which I probably didn't do on here, is, rather than us being here testing this supply, we're kind of building a base on all this volume, on this area traded. Building a level like over here instead of testing this level, in my eyes. If we managed to reclaim it, we did here, reclaimed it, set it here. So basically, yeah, we're building a base on this level, and we do need that bigger breakout, fake breakout. It doesn't look like it's gonna just drop. Next. Oh, next, this was fun. This is, I think, was with the expectations here. I wish for trades to happen so I could enter and leave it work, basically. But so, and that's the same pattern that. Oh, so yeah, on I took the loss, I think, on MRA. But the pattern I was mentioning is like this, where they saw a push, and you see it's like on a low volume, and then we get volume coming in, but pushes on low volume, and it's most volume is traded in this area, so it happens. And once we reclaim this basically level, this doesn't represent any basically resistance because there's no volume traded in there. We already exhausted everything here, so we built a base. We can expect a bigger squeeze. Not in this area, on this trade, I would say like golden zone is not gonna work because we got base right below it, so it does give like a bigger squeeze. I was definitely like as well early on this, as I mentioned here, nowhere near good setup, low volume grind up, avoid, keep stop above your perceived seller. If it's a boredom trade, take it as such with minimum size basically in here. And I've already like started building position because one entry took another entry, and that's one of those. Instead of cutting it here, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait and see what it does, and it does this. So I add that because I think, okay, it should be done now. But again, if looking at what I want to see in my system, it's too early. We haven't closed the first 15, so I have to take here, cut here, wait for this. These entries is okay. I mentioned here as well, I'm quite okay this because already I was saw on the level 2, I think there was some seller and there was a weakness. That's why I took these entries, retesting that level, and this one as well, maybe anticipated at the same level. Then here, of course, I took half off and then added here. So because we did have like more volume, but then you can see in this small, it's going up, volume divergence. So quite decent with this entry, and even if sizing correctly, I would be probably happy with this as well, I must say. What else from this? So as I mentioned, that's like a recurring pattern, the expectations. Yeah, risk management, I can't say there was any. This should have been cut. Next entry should have been only starting somewhere around this level. So kind of a lot of it could have been avoided, but expectations got better of me. Next, what we have, IMRA. This was just literally wasn't even thinking a lot about it. Had it on my screen. I saw the pattern, just took it. It kind of worked out, but didn't want to sit in the after hours for too long. Babysit, so just cut it. I think break even, and that's it. Left it alone. Next. AMPX. AMPX, similar price action to QNRX yesterday. So the same thing again. We make this push, another push, probably like fake a golden zone, whatever, rejection, trap more, push back into that supply, and then become the supply basically. So all the volume is traded there somewhere. Another trap, another one below this level, reclaim, almost the stop, and rip from there. Timing, I think, was, it's very kind of low volume as well. If you look at it, it's like, well, I suppose now it's normal volume for current conditions. So kind of a little bit more difficult to read. I find it a little bit harder to read these low volumes. So took a starter. I think ideally wanted it a little bit higher, I think. But the timing was okay, so that's closed. Looked like rejecting. Took a small entry. I think small entry. Yeah. Cut it there when it didn't work. Saw more strength, tried to cover, skip, had to cover higher, so I took this, and then I thought I'm gonna wait for the shelf clear out, but the candle closed. This one opened there. I saw some strength, tried to cut it, but I didn't get filled, so that's why I cut it. I got filled there, but I tried to cover it more, much sooner. Kind of okay with this trade as well. Saw what I want to see. Then it got stronger, so cut the position. It's fine. I mean, sizing maybe, so yeah, it wasn't like a starter position, and it was a little bit more, I think. Should have been more correct with sizing. Okay, MVST. Yeah, I think this was as well a little bit with expectations, because I think I took, without even thinking a lot, because I was looking, okay, this is getting like quite extended, multiple green candles, getting heavier, and without much thinking, I think I've just added too much size, and I think I was waiting for 250 on this, thinking it will go 250. So once I took too much size and it held this somewhere, buying more, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to cover this, because if it goes 250, I'm not gonna be comfortable with my entry here with the size I have. And then once I covered that, I started building with a smaller size. So waited. This looked like a failed breakout. Gone below, looked weak into this level, like 238. So I added more. Cut half at this because I was still thinking it's gonna go 250. It didn't. Added more and then covered at my targets. This probably would have been a kind of an okay recycle, but then again, kind of even volume traded, so we've got a little bit here. Yeah, could have worked. Oh, AMPX, I think I took a note to check daily levels. No, not AMPX, that was different, wasn't it? Oh yeah, and AMPX, what was that? I think I had marked that I did what I wanted to do, took short on what I thought was a clear out, allowed it to. Oh yeah, I think I had somewhere level around there, and it did what I wanted to do. So I identified the level wrong, I think, because I went back and checked it, and I believe on this IPO, recent IPO, when I look at it, do I draw on this thing? That's nice. So I was looking at this kind of like a pivot level somewhere here, or even this, I think. No, even this, I believe. And he's like J-lines and everything, and this. But what I failed to notice is that this doesn't really have any volume in here. There's like nothing, and most of volume is in the highest volume day. So we between 11 and 6ish, and this is well there. This is between 1150. So okay, this is volume above, but it's already less than this. So most is here, then all traded here. This when it was buying up, it's still somewhere. Most of it is below 10. So this is already. Oh, so I think I traded this day. So we were having high volume, so we already definitely cleared everything this, and we were higher volume than this and this and this on the like separate days. So we easily were testing like all these levels, and that was like a buy volume as well. There was like not much selling going on. So I think I misread the volume. This should have been like level of interest, something like this probably. So from 11 or something, look at it then. Well, anyways. Peggy. Yeah, this was as well, I think, as I mentioned, like probably smaller size. Just took it, didn't react. I had to walk the dog, so for some reason I decided not to risk high of day. I don't know why. Which is not entirely reasonable thing. So I set it break even. Of course, it got hit. So still, it like being still weak. Short it there, covered at the target. Would have been an okay trade without the stop. Maybe then would have looked to add over here. Okay, QNGY. What do we have here? As well, as I mentioned before, smaller size. I think on most of the trades this week. Starter size didn't want to allow too much against me. So yeah, even with the starter size, didn't want it to go like much higher. So I took half position up of the starter position. Because it was acting, I don't know, acting crazy. So I was afraid to leave it to not to get into that. Because if it's, I thought, okay, if it's gonna go higher, and then even if I add higher, I'm still not gonna have my average high enough to actually make anything of this trade. So yeah, I took half off, and then was looking at this here 195. I think level. There was a stack, I think, on the ask, and weakness like selling in there. So added more position in there, covered at the target, and then covered the half, and then just cut it break even. This was a little bit harder because the actual like the higher time frame stuff was mm, quite huge. It just caught me off guard, but other than that, it was quite okay. LITM. That was, I think, on Friday. I think we were talking about this with M7. Wanted between like 270 and 3. Probably should have took into account the market cycle, which seems quite weak. Not enough volume to actually do maybe those pushes. So just a start position. Really no idea why I didn't think to add here. Somehow, how when I started to hold for my targets longer, uh, stop recycling or adding, which I feel I should start doing a little bit more, especially if I'm taking like a small position on these weird market cycle. We got like 60,000 volume. So maybe look at ads in these good levels. I think it was just few cents shy. That's why I didn't take it. I think this one I was looking at 268, which I think I took the century based off, and then I kind of waited to see to come retest this level again. So once they didn't want to ruin my average somewhere there and then get it pushed up to higher, so make me feel uncomfortable. This was similar, but this one definitely I think I should have taken, and then just risking break even or this. But I think I wanted 260. It was just few cents, 2 cents short of that level. Didn't add anything there. Just covered at the target. Scaba on this ideally wanted $2. It kind of did what I want on a higher time frame. So ideally wanted two, but it looked like setting up at 175. Looked like there is a stack. This is one thing that I've noticed a couple times, and I need to pay more attention to that. You get like a stack on the ask, and it looked like it's refreshing, but because it's so low volume, it's really hard to like be solid about it, because it looks like I'm gonna have like a stack. Well, this is very low volume, so you're talking, I don't know, maybe 50, I don't know, maybe even 100. And it's that 50 is being chipped, there's being like, but very slowly because it's like low volume, so it adds a little bit, maybe 100, 102 and 56, buy some, then adds again 57. But it wasn't like a very solid rejection. And then when you look at the chart, so I took an entry there, it looked weak, took there, I thought after this wash it's done, added a little bit, so I just kept building position, added there as well, like what looked on weakness, and the stop was set for just above my entry, the perceived risk that I had, the seller thing. And then took quite an okay but smaller size due to time of day, and just let it run to try to hit my target. But when you look at it, it's like on such a low volume that can't really consider this a supply. Uh, well, I suppose if the volume is lower, maybe then you can like to take this rejection. But then again, we have like all this, built this base, lower volume, trap, push higher. Anyways, I'm quite happy. I mean, it's I need to somehow look into those fake offer traps. Not fake offer traps. I don't know how to even describe them. Fake seller or whatever. Oh, and that's it. That's all we have for this week. Thank you.